Hi, I'm Fiddlin' Ray. Welcome to the Fiddle Dojo. Today we're going to talk about the circle of fifths or the circle of fourths. And I'm just gonna scratch the surface. You have no idea how many times I've tried to make a video about this thing. Um, there's a lot of ins and outs and what have yous, and it can get pretty complicated if we don't know what we're doing, and it's a lot to talk about for one lesson, anyways. So today, I'm just gonna, like I said, scratch the surface. Um, if you're learning about classical music or jazz music, the circle of fifths, fourths, pretty essential. If we're learning folk tunes, fiddle tunes, bluegrass tunes, not quite so much. However, I encourage you to bear with me um, and learn something just to satisfy your curiosity. So let me pull up the image of this, and I'm just going to explain briefly why this is called what this is called. So, oops, that's not it. Here it is. So we have C at the top, and C is kind of the neutral key. It has no sharps or flats, and therefore, most people like to use this as a jumping off point. Some people like G, some people like A. It doesn't really matter where you start, as you'll see in a second. But I'm going to do that. I'm going to start from C right here, and I'm just going to count up the C scale. All right, so if I start here on C, 2, 3, 4. When we get to 5, right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, C, D, E, F, G. Right, that takes us to the next key in the circle. Right, I'm going to do the same thing again. Notice I'm actually switching keys though. When the sharps are added every time that I do this, I'm going to play them when appropriate. Right, but I'm going to start that again. I'm just going to count up 5, starting with this G note. 2, 3, 4, 5. Right, that takes us to the key of D. Right, 5 from G takes us to D, and you know what? It's just gonna keep doing that. I can count up 5 from D, D, E, F, G, A. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to A, and so on. That's just gonna take you all the way around the circle until you get back to where you started from. That's the circle of fourths. That's the circle of fifths. The circle of fourths is the same thing, except it's going to take us, interestingly enough, it's going to take us the opposite direction around the circle. So I'm going to start back here at C, count up 4 for the circle of fourths. 1, 2, 3, 4. C, D, E, F. Imagine that. Took us right to the next key. Then do the same thing again. Always make sure that you account for the key change, because this is now the key of F. So I'm going to play an F major scale, or the first 4 notes of the F major scale. F, G, A, B flat. Right? And again, this works the same way. You count up 4 from B flat. Right? That's going to take you to E flat, which is going to take you to A flat, which is going to take you to D flat, and so on. So that's where its name comes in. It's one way around the circle. It's the circle of fifths, because you're moving in fifths. One way around the circle, you're moving in fourths, because you're moving in fourths. I advise you to just take a couple weeks and internalize that. Now, this video is geared towards violin and mandolin players. However, it is non-specific. So if you're a banjo player, or guitar player, kazoo player, whatever, this will work for you. But piano players kind of have it easy, right? Because they can play all of these notes at once. Whereas if we play fiddle, we're kind of limited to maybe 2 notes at a time. Where mandolin, we're maybe 4 notes at a time. So I'm going to take the simplified route, and I'm going to move around the circle of fourths and fifths, just 1 note at a time. just like that. I have a backing track that I'll show you, but let me pull this image back up and you'll see what I'm doing. It's pretty darn simple. Here, this is a better picture anyways. So just like I did before, I'm going to start on C. Now, instead of counting up, I'm just going to assume that that math works, and I'm just going to jump right to G. And then I'm going to jump to D. And I'm going to jump to A. Now, so far, I've actually been going up in pitch, but eventually you run out, especially if you're playing a mandolin or a violin. We kind of are limited, especially if I encourage you to stay in first position to get this under your fingers. So we just kind of have to find one of these notes. We can do it arbitrarily or just try to find the closest one. It's probably the best strategy. So now I'm going to go down to this E. And I'm going to work my way the other way across the neck. The direction of the circle does not change, however. All right, so now here's B, which is going to take us to F sharp or G flat. I like the flat key. I like to think about them as flats. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to call it G flat, which is then going to take us to D flat, which is going to take us to A flat, which is then going to take us to E flat, B flat, F. Would you look at that? We're right back where we started from. All right, so just doing this one note at a time will really kind of help familiarize yourself with these patterns, the directions. Because if we just read about it, or there's tons of other great YouTube videos on the circle of fifths that are up already. I'm planning on releasing more as time goes on, but I encourage you to check it all out. But I think with just basic understanding, that wasn't right. Sorry. Just having that basic understanding of where all the root notes of those keys are is really going to help you grasp the further or the future exercises. Next, we have the circle of fourths. We're going to do the same thing, but I'm going to go the other way. So C to F to B flat, and again, it doesn't really matter which one you pick, just as long as it's a B flat, to E flat, to A flat, D flat, G flat, B, E, A, D, G, and then we're back to C. So just do that. Spend X amount of time, many hours, many minutes, just going around the circle one way and then reversing it and going around the other. Start on any given key, right? Start on A. Go reinforce, that takes you to D, which is G. And then, do the same thing going in fifths. Still starting on A. Right, that'll kind of mix it up. All right. That's it for this lesson. Thanks for tuning in. Please subscribe. If you think I could do anything better or you have any questions, please let me know in the comments below. Have a good one.